defending champion, the Wanamaker mile. How does it feel coming back?
It feels great. The energy in New York City is always truly electric. Walking out of Penn Station last night, I'm here with Aisha, my girlfriend. She's also running. It's her first time ever in New York, so like it's bright eyes in the big city. But it also helps to push some of that exuberance onto myself. Really excited. Incredible field. It's defending the title is gonna be no easy feat, and they've asked for a very quick pace, so should be awesome. Should be a good show.
Can you talk about your training recently and I guess how you feel right now as compared to last year?
Yeah. So last year, I guess the race was a bit of a surprise to me. I had no idea what kind of mile shape that I was in. I had been focusing on primarily aerobic strength, aerobic power up in Flagstaff, but that worked out so well that we went back and basically retraced the steps, but kind of tightened up the things that got a little out of control last year. And went back up to Flagstaff, this time with a crew. I mean, last year I was the only track athlete really in Flagstaff in January, and this year, I should say last year, my girlfriend and Aisha and I were up there. But we were the only ones really like doing track-specific workouts. This year there was probably 25 or 30 athletes up there. So that got very energetic as well. People really cranking it up, seeing what other people are doing, getting inspired.
Feeding off that energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at the end of the day, we came out of the camp healthy and really, really fit. And we saw the 3K at Boston last year, which is not exactly what I was hoping for, or last weekend. But we saw what my training partner did that I ran with pretty much every day. So I think he and I are both hoping for some pretty impressive results for both of us. I mean, there's winning the race, and then everyone also has their secondary goals. You want to win and accomplish the goals that you set out to from the get-go. But fast time, sub 350, I think is definitely the cards.
Yeah, that's what Matthew Centrowitz was talking about yesterday. Potential American record race with the depth of the field. Do you think it could go one of two ways: tactical, slow and tactical, or let's go out from the get-go and go after it?
When the pace is as fast as it asks for an indoor race, I think that you sort of you risk that happening. You risk no one wanting to be the sacrificial lamb right behind the rabbit. But we have athletes the likes of Lowy Lang. There's a guy, he's not scared to go after it. And I watched the video of the DMR where he ran 52, but you don't get to see him, so I have no idea how he could have gone out in 151 for all I know. But I haven't been able to see the splits for that race either. We know from that performance that he's also fit. And I think that it would be a shame if it went tactile, because this is a really great opportunity for us to push each other and potentially take down this American record that's been hanging around for a little bit too long.
I have to ask, Edward Chudzik in the field, accomplished collegian, very accomplished high school career, returning to New York. What are your thoughts on him in the field?
I'm 1-0 against Ches in my career. He ran the 2 mile here 2 years ago, and I was also in that race. So I'd like to continue my unbeaten streak against him, but he's kind of a wild card. I haven't seen much of a result from him indoors this year. I think he ran a 5K or something a couple years in a DMR or something. But I don't think that he's ever been in a race of this caliber where it's going to be this hot from the gun.
He's never broken. I don't believe he's broken 4.
No, but I think he ran like 336 last year or something like that. So it'll be. Mac Fleet tweeted yesterday something about the only single record he has at the University of Oregon is for the indoor mile, and it's hung around for 5 years, so it's about time for it to go down. So he's fully confident that Ches will run under, I think it's 357 or 358, which I wouldn't be surprised with at all. But again, he's got an amazing finish, but so do a lot of the guys in this field, and if it gets tactical, you're going to have a lot of guys I think that can run about 25 seconds or the last 200 sitting there. And if everyone runs 25, the chest positions aren't going to change very much.
You said, last week you were a little disappointed with that 3K. You led a lot of it. What are your thoughts on the race? What was it more that you weren't as fit as you thought, or that just tactically? What were you thinking?
Well, you hit it on the head already. I led most of it. Therein lies the problem for me in a 3,000. When you're running up against guys who have run, sub 13 minutes for a 5K. I was hoping to really get out there and have something to stretch out the fitness. The race felt too comfortable. That was the problem. It was, and yeah, I could have done something about it, but again, I wasn't exactly feeling as that was my optimal strategy on the day. And I certainly didn't want to be the one to pull everyone else to a fast time and then potentially fade away at the end. I was sitting out there through about 2K, and at 2K I was confident. If I was a betting man, I would have bet money that Gebremeskel would have passed me at that point. And then at 800, I would have, bet everything on the kitchen sink. And then at 600, I was like, well, this is getting to be a little bit of a joke because we were just, around like 64s at that point. But it was fun, and getting to practice tactics a little bit, and so that wasn't so bad. But I was hoping to really get a good bang out and try and run, 740 or faster, and that just unfortunately didn't happen.
Nick Willis said after his race that it's his first real time at altitude was in Flagstaff, and he was sort of leaning on you because his coach, Ron Warhurst, wasn't really that familiar with it. What did you, did you show him the ropes? What did you teach him?
Well, Ron's my coach as well.
Right.
And Ron, we'd talk to each other probably 4 or 5 times a week, and Ron would say, this is what I want you guys to do, and I'd have to, run it through the altitude filter because Ron doesn't really have any experience coaching at altitude. Last year, when I went up to altitude twice, I'd run my ideas past the coaches up in Flagstaff and say, is this feasible? I'm really fit, but is this workout even remarkably feasible? And sometimes they say, no, not a chance. You're not going to make it through that. It's just physiologically nearly impossible to do some things like that. And so that was an additional stress for me, I think, was like sort of being responsible for our training. But I took on the challenge. It was sort of my first time being a coach. I think it worked out pretty well.